you can say goodbye to a more than 2-week process that spanned hours upon hours upon hours around the clock, and a double-digit amount of candidates, 17 to be exact, at least that were reported and known to the public, and the Ravens have found their guy. Welcome into Breaking Coverage. Jesse Minter is your newest head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, a former assistant under John Harbaugh, and of course the current, no longer, defensive coordinator under Jim Harbaugh in Los Angeles. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome inside the channel. I'm Bobby Trosset. As always, this is where I bring you all kinds of Ravens coverage and beyond. It has been a heck of a couple of weeks, and the Ravens have settled on their guy. And when I say settled, they feel good about their guy. 42 years young. He'll turn 43 in May. Jesse Minter, of course, was in Baltimore from 2017 to 2020. He began as a defensive assistant with the Ravens and served as such from 17 to 18. He was then promoted to assistant defensive backs coach in 19. He then was promoted to defensive backs coach in 2020, bolted to Vanderbilt to begin his defensive coordinator experience at the collegiate level, where he just spent 1 year. Jim Harbaugh then brings him into Michigan to serve as his defensive coordinator from 22 to 23. When Jim bolted to the NFL, to the Chargers, he took Jesse alongside him. And the last couple of years, Jesse has really burst onto the scene as one of the hot up-and-coming names of tremendous defensive mind. And the Ravens have found this their fourth head coach in the history of the franchise. Guys, if you could on the way in, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or a gift-giving membership. Several statements making their way in, one from team owner Steve Bisciotti, another from general manager Eric DeCosta, who of course led this search process, and Jesse as well has spoken in his first statement as the next head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. Eric DeCosta is quoted for saying, "We are thrilled to announce an agreement with Jesse Minter to be the fourth head coach in Baltimore Ravens history. Jesse is a strong leader who possesses a brilliant football mind and a spirit that will resonate with our players and fan base alike. Jesse comes from a football family with success at every level of the sport, and we are confident that he is the right coach to lead the Ravens forward. Congratulations to Jesse and his wife, Rachel." I'm not sure if it's Rachel or Rochelle, to be quite honest with you. I'll have to look into that. "And the entire Minter family. It's time to get to work." That from team manager and general manager, that is Eric DeCosta, on Jesse Minter. Jimmy Smith, just a couple of weeks ago, they overlapped during their time in Baltimore, and Jesse worked closely with the defensive backs. Here's what Jimmy told me just a short while ago.
I mean, Jesse's a great coach. He's very, let's say, very Michael McDonald-ish in the sense that they both came in assistants, and those are the guys that, before games, you're like, hey, give me a couple extra nuggets, because those guys study the game so well, and they know, and they prepare very well. So I feel like with Jesse, I'm not going to call him Mike McDonald, obviously, but that's kind of the mold I would see him in. Like, he's a defensive-minded guy. He was our DB coach and has respect of the players and communicate with us. When he used to run the meetings, when he used to do his time doing the meetings back then, it was like he did a great job. So he's not a person that's like scared to speak up and all that. So I've been watching his career since he left us and watched him at Vanderbilt, and he's been doing a good job. But that you just never know. Like I said, it's hard to know what the Ravens are, because the like I said, the guy Davis Webb, I'd never thought, who was that? Who was that guy? And then it's like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay is right. Davis Webb's, of course, going to be on Sean Payton's coaching staff this upcoming weekend. And that, again, was before this news was official. That was from Jimmy Smith just a couple of weeks ago. And you heard him. Jesse's a great coach. Very Mike McDonald-ish. Those are the guys that before the games, they're like, hey, give me a couple extra nuggets. Those guys study the game so well, and they prepare very well. When he used to do his time during meetings back then, he did a great job. He's not a person that's scared to speak up. I recognize if some of you out there are saying, look, man, this is not Mike McDonald, and I get it. And you guys obviously are entitled to share that sentiment, feel that sentiment deeply, knowing that Mike has had a tremendous couple years as the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. But you heard what Jimmy said there. Maybe he's just maybe the next best thing or the closest thing to the former defensive coordinator in Baltimore, Mike Mack, who, of course, will compete for an NFC title this upcoming weekend on Sunday in Seattle against the Rams. But that's really neither here nor there. His players, what about the All-Pro, Derwin James? Speaks very highly of him. He's already tweeted congratulations to his former defensive coordinator. Here was Derwin not all that long ago.
You feel like Minter would make a good head coach?
Yeah. He can make whatever he want to be. Yeah.
Why is that?
Because he's that guy. He's that leader, alpha. Man, he's not looking around. He alpha, man. The guys play hard for him, man. And I just feel like he's just that dude, man. Every day you know what you're going to get with him. You know, he's consistent, man.
Are you worried that he's...
I ain't worried about that right now, man. We locked in right now. We're going to keep going. But hopefully, man, he ain't going nowhere. Hopefully. Need that boy.
Oh, he went somewhere, though. Again, that was Derwin James, standout Charger safety, referring to him as an alpha. As for the alpha himself, his first statement, his first written words as the next head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. Quote, "I am truly honored to serve as the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. This is an organization whose values, culture, and tradition of excellence reflect everything I believe about the game of football and how it should be played. My family and I are thrilled to join the Ravens flock, and we can't wait to make the fans, the great city of Baltimore, and Maryland proud." That from Jesse Minter, just the fourth head coach in the history of the Ravens organization. It was a thorough, drawn-out process, maybe leading some of you to believe that this thing could go past the Super Bowl. I know I thought that there was certainly a chance that that might be the case, but it falls short of championship weekend. I tweeted out earlier in the week, if I were a betting man, it feels like a safe bet to assume that this search would go beyond championship weekend. It's a good thing I don't tend to bet all that often. What about Steve Bisciotti's words? He released a statement through Ravens Productions on social media as well, and that reads as follows. Jesse was impressive throughout our incredibly thorough interview process. He clearly understands the values, high expectations, and history of the Ravens, and he has a great vision for the future. Jesse's football acumen is outstanding, and that's been proven by the impact he's made throughout his entire coaching career. He's also a leader who will authentically connect with our players and inspire them to championship levels. I want to thank Eric DaCosta, Sashi Brown, and our entire selection committee for the work they poured into this process. It was clear to us that Jesse is a special talent who has what it takes to lead us as head coach of the Ravens. I watched Eric work closely with John Harbaugh for years. It was evident how excited he and Sashi are to now partner with Jesse as our organization strives to chase championships. That from team owner Steve Bisciotti, your newest head coach of the Baltimore Ravens is Jesse Minter. Thank you guys for spending some time with me this evening. Some breaking news coverage. It's a momentous day, a process that spanned over 2 weeks, 17 total candidates, a laundry list of interviews, including several second interviews as recently as today with Bills offensive coordinator Joe Brady, who I believe was in the building. The Ravens have their guy. Jesse began his football coaching career as a defensive intern in 2006 for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. He spent just one season there and went on to Cincinnati, where he served as a grad assistant from 2007 to 2008. He then went to Indiana State to serve as linebackers coach from 2009 to 2010, and then was quickly promoted to defensive coordinator during the 11 and 12 seasons. He then went on to Georgia State to serve as defensive coordinator from 13 to 16, and then got his NFL shot as a defensive assistant under John Harbaugh from 17 to 18. He was then promoted to assistant DB's coach, then promoted again to DB's coach in 2020, and then went on to Vanderbilt to become the defensive coordinator and safeties coach, where he spent just one season. Jim Harbaugh then plucked him and brought him to Michigan, and they won a national title together. He was in Ann Arbor from 22 to 23. And then when Jim bolted to the NFL to become a Bolt with the Chargers, he brought Jesse along with him. Jesse's defense this past season, by the way, while they were one and done as a team, it had nothing to do with his side of the ball, guys. Overall, in the regular season, the Chargers were the 5th-ranked defense overall. In terms of passing defense in the regular season, they were the 5th-ranked group, so top 5 in both of those categories. In terms of rushing defense, they were top 8. This is league-wide of all 32 teams. In scoring, the Chargers were top 9. In red zone defense, they were top 4. What about on third down? Got to have it down, money down, top 5. A defense third down rate of 35.2%. The playoff rate was 36.4%. And yes, they were one and done, but Greg Roman was fired for a reason. And they brought in Mike McDaniel, obviously, for a reason. In other words, the defense balled out. And it was an impressive 2-year resume in Los Angeles. A lot of us felt like this upcoming weekend would be important for the Ravens decision makers and hiring teams, knowing that there were several candidates, 5 or 6 to be clear, that are on staff of teams that will be competing in the conference championship games this weekend. The Davis Webbs, the Vance Josephs, the Chris Shulas. Heck, you guys might have logged on earlier and saw what this stream was initially built around. And that was Peter Schrager floating out the idea of potentially Chris Shula being a dark horse candidate, the Rams defensive coordinator. And perhaps the idea of Nate Scheelhaus, the pass game coordinator under Sean McVay, coming over with him. The Ravens felt like they got enough. And there were reports out last night and today that Jesse really impressed the Ravens hiring team in their all-day interview yesterday. So much so, he was bold enough, perhaps with a handshake deal, to cancel his visit to the Cleveland Browns today. They await, obviously, the finalization of their next head coach. Perhaps that comes down between Jim Schwartz and Todd Monken. But the reality is, he felt like he got enough and ultimately did enough in Steve Bisciotti's eyes, Eric DeCosta's eyes, Sashi Brown's eyes, Ozzie Newsom's eyes, to win them over. And while doing so, he becomes the 4th head coach in the history of the Ravens organization. Garrett Family Aquatics gets us started tonight with the first of many super chats, I'm sure. And he writes, what's the word on who Jesse is going to bring in for offensive coordinator? That's where the conversation starts to shift to, Garrett. To be quite honest with you, I haven't thought about it. I know we spent a lot of time last night talking about the prospect of Cliff Kingsbury going over and coming to Baltimore with Anthony Weaver. Anthony now obviously sets his sights elsewhere as another candidate that's garnering interest from the Pittsburgh Steelers and a couple other organizations. Best of luck to him. Olu writes, he figured out how to get the best from Owe. Let's see how Ajabo and our other young rushers look. Next, Kingsbury for offensive coordinator. Next, Lamar, re-up, and then the draft. Olu's setting the table for what's absolutely expected to be a very busy offseason, and that could very well be the order of events. If David Ajabo is on this roster next year, there's no guarantee in that, Olu. But there's no doubt that Jesse and his defensive staff, after acquiring Odafe Owe at the trade deadline, got a whole lot out of big number 99. He went nuts the second half of the year and sets himself up nicely for a payday. I can't imagine that'll be a reuniting in Baltimore, but hey, never say never. You just never know. And you got to wonder if this bodes well for Alohi Gilman, who was on the other side of that transaction from a Baltimore perspective, Ravens safety. They have a decision to make on him. Perhaps Jesse will be influential in that process. Trey writes, is Joe Brady or Cliff Kingsbury possible to get the offensive coordinator job? Maybe, just maybe, Mike McDaniel possible. Well, probably not Mike. I think it's all but written in ink in Los Angeles for Mike to serve as the next offensive coordinator under Jim Harbaugh. But you got to think, guys, that there's something to be said for the fact that they were clearly won over yesterday by Jesse's interview, but they still chose to have Joe Brady in today. Is that an indication of Joe being in the running here and on their short list to serve as the next offensive play caller in Baltimore? And on top of that, is there some conversations to be had here related to Cliff Kingsbury and the report that came out yesterday from Diana Rossini? All that, as things start to come to fruition here, will start perhaps to materialize. More to come on all of those fronts. Dinero Tranquillo says, we got our guy. I'm sure the brass did their homework. New chapter now. Let's get to the hardware. Thanks, Dinero. Dreams is with me tonight. If he unlocks Mike Green, I'll turn into a believer. And he's going to be tasked with doing exactly that. He's got a big task in front of him, matter of fact. Because the Ravens defense has looked unrecognizable in recent seasons. And now they feel like they have their next guy that's coming up the ranks quickly as a fast riser in this league that's universally respected. And everywhere he's gone, there's been a championship caliber and level of defense that he's brought to the table with him. Mike, one of the many projects, if you will, that'll now turn into a developmental project for Jesse and his staff. The unfamous D. Rice writes, I think this is a great pick. Top defensive mind. I am very interested to see who he will tab for offensive coordinator. Is it going to be Kingsbury? A lot of similar questions flowing in. Deservedly so. These are all intriguing questions that we'll start to learn more about in the coming days ahead as this staff is put together, as the introductory press conference is put together, and a date is set for that. Buckle up. This is where the fun becomes even more fun than it already has been throughout the last couple weeks. Dark Thunder 35 writes, glad they kept a homegrown talent like Minter this time around. The sin of Mike McDonald leaving is washed away, perhaps for the time being, before you really get an idea of who of who Mike McDonald is. Board certified DJ says, and I should say, we know who Mike McDonald is, certainly. I got people trying to call me over here, which is why I lost my train of thought, before we really truly know who Jesse Minter is as a head coach. Board certified DJ writes, the fact that they hired him so fast makes me believe the Browns offered him the job today and he played that card to us. Time to rest, Bobby. We'll rest in May at this point, board certified, because we got Super Bowl coverage to do at Radio Row, get a bunch of different perspectives. You name it. There's a lot to cover, including the staff, including the combine, the draft, free agency, you name it. We ain't resting anytime soon. Appreciate you, DJ. Ryan writes, Rossini has zero sources. Hey, now, hold on now. First of all, I think that's a direct conversation and what's being fed to her from Cliff's camp. And we'll see if that's more of a mechanism on Cliff's side of things to garner interest and discussion and chatter, or is this potentially the next offensive play caller under Jesse Minter and this new era of Ravens football in Cliff Kingsbury? Wait and see. We'll wait and see. But a lot of times, what Diana came forth with yesterday is information that is passed along and delivered to her by the camp of that candidate. And in this case, it'd be Cliff's agency. JP Bugs writes, sign Khalil Mack to a 1 or 2 year deal like with KVN. JP Bugs already has free agency on his mind. Hayes0939 says, Jesse versus Mike and the Ravens. A Seahawks? Okay. Jesse versus Mike, a Ravens Seahawks Super Bowl someday. The Harbaugh Prodigy Super Bowl. Can you imagine Can you imagine if that were to ever take place? That'd be something. Goose Lex writes, Shula dream over, hoping for the best. That's what this entire thing was supposed to be built on. Funny how that works, huh? Ryan writes, fine, Rossini might have one source. Ryan's not pleased with Diana, even though I think there could be some merit to that, and time will tell. Guys, I appreciate you for being here. The concurrent number is growing and growing quickly. Over 3,000 in here. If you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or a gift-giving membership. This is why you do what you do when you're in the content world. Days like these from a fandom perspective, I hope you guys are enjoying the official start. Day one, a new era has dawned on Baltimore. We'll get back to the content in just a second. But a quick word. For those of you who have your concerns regarding my health and wellness, I'm looking at you, Dre Dog. I think you'll be pleased to know we have a new sponsor, and that is our friends at Factor. Factor delivers fresh, never frozen, chef-crafted, and dietitian-approved meals straight to your doorstep, and it's ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Factor meals are designed to support your wellness journey, help eliminate stress around cooking, planning, or cleanup so you can stay focused on your goals. Heat, eat, and enjoy in just 2 minutes. Real food, real ingredients, made without refined seed oils, without refined sugars, without artificial colors, without sweeteners. You can head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code BobbyBFB50 to get you 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for a year. Again, that is code BobbyBFB50 at factor75.com. That'll get you 50% off plus free breakfast for a year. That offer is only valid for new Factor customers with the code and the qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. I'll say that code once more for you. BobbyBFB50. Thank you, Factor. And thank you indeed, because we love new sponsors. And when you support our sponsors and support our brand partnerships, you're directly supporting the programs that we give you consistent Ravens coverage on all year round. I will say that code once more. It's pinned right now in the live chat. It's also in the show notes. It's BobbyBFB50. That's BOBBYBFB50 at factor75.com. We'll get you 50% off plus free breakfast for a year. All that information can be found in the show notes below. Over 3,100 concurrents and counting. We will open up the guest lines in just a bit. Jesse Minter is your newest head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, and it is officially a new era in Baltimore as they begin officially. I think we can officially call it off-season now for 2026. And there will be plenty of tasks and agenda items on the bulletin board, if you will, in the coming months ahead. First and foremost for Jesse, getting that introductory press conference done and starting to build a staff that he'll bring to Baltimore with him. Fatboy Trucks 28 says people in this chat need to find a new team. STFU with this trade Lamar shit. Minter deserved this hire and is not a Harbs guy. People won't ever be happy with any choice. Webb for offensive coordinator. Giro for run game coordinator. Woo-hoo! Can you imagine Davis Webb getting the opportunity at his first play caller chance in the NFL as a former collegiate quarterback, as a former NFL quarterback, and as one of the game's hot names who turned 31 today. Davis Webb turned 31 today. Thanks, Fat Boy. Guy Williams writes, what offensive coordinator ties does Minter have? What is the direction that he could go? To be quite honest with you, I think that's for the days ahead. Forecasting those potential candidates for the days ahead. Ryan writes, I stand with Fat Boy Trucks 28. A lot of toxic fans. You know what's funny? There are so many chats right now in the live area that I haven't even had a chance to see what's going on because my mind is blown and there's a massive audience here and I'm trying to give you guys what you need tonight on a historic, momentous, significant day in the history of this franchise. King writes, I guess we'll just never invest in Lamar. Oh, don't you worry, King. Don't you worry. They're going to get it right at offensive coordinator, and Lamar will have a say in that process. Guy writes, will Minter call the defense? It's going to be fascinating to see that unfold. That's another layer of nuance. Will Jesse, as the head coach, as someone who will be in charge of clock management, game management, and other nuanced areas within the game that is the game, will he too call plays? This is the stuff right here. And Lamone has become a Bobby Baltimorean, aka a Trosseteer. Welcome to channel membership, my friend. Glad you can be with me. Quan410 writes, could help us against the Chiefs in the playoffs, assuming that Kansas City find its way back there after not making the postseason for the first time since 2014 this year and the first time in the Patrick Mahomes era. It's notable they just rehired Eric Bieniemy, let Matt Nagy walk, and Eric Bieniemy, who won 2 Super Bowls under Andy Reid on that staff, is coming back to serve with the Chiefs. Justin Linder, or is it Lindner? Justin, appreciate you, brother. Thanks for the super chat. I will continue to relay you what I think is significant praise from one of the game's best at his position, Derwin James, his now former defensive coordinator, Jesse Minter. Derwin had this to say about his candidacy in the past.
I feel like Minter would make a good head coach.
Yeah. He can make whatever you want to be. Yeah.
Why is that?
Because he's that guy. He that leader, alpha. Man, he's not looking around. He alpha, man. The guys play hard for him, man. And I just feel like he's just that dude, man. Every day you know what you're going to get with him. You know, he consistent, man.
Are you worried that
I ain't worried about that right now, man. We locked in right now. We're going to keep going. Hopefully, man, he ain't going nowhere. Hopefully. Need that boy.
And as for Jimmy Smith,
I mean, Jesse's a great coach. He's just very, let's say, very Michael McDonald-ish in the sense that they both came in assistants, and those are the guys that, you know, before games you're like, hey, give me a couple extra nuggets, because those guys study the game so well, and they know and they prepare very well. So I feel like with Jesse, I'm not gonna call him Mike McDonald, obviously, but that's kind of the mold I would see him in. Like, he's a defensive-minded guy. He was our DB coach and has respect of the players and communicate with us. When he used to run the meetings, when he used to do his time doing the meetings back then, it was like he did a great job. So it's not a person that's like scared to speak up and all that. So I've been watching his career since he left us and watch him at Vanderbilt, and he's been doing a good job. But you know that you just never know. Like I said, it's hard to know what the Ravens are, because the like I said, the guy Davis Webb.
who knows? Maybe Davis Webb ends up being the offensive coordinator. I know some of you are calling for that. Jeff Zarebeck 20 minutes ago, and it looks like there will be an impromptu collective tonight. Cole Jackson just tried calling me, which is funny because I'm assuming that he wants me on board for tonight, 8:30. So, yeah, they're all texting in the group right now. Hey, Cole, if you're watching right now, yes, we will be live on the collective tonight. Why wouldn't we be live on the collective tonight? I just canceled my date, for God's sakes. I was supposed to have a 7:30 date tonight, a second date, I might add. And I was actually pretty excited about that, but that's not happening tonight. Hopefully she'll understand. Jeff noted a short while ago, Ravens loved a few of the assistants coaching on Sunday. They were inclined at one point to wait it out so they can interview them early this coming week. However, Raiders' interest in Jesse Minter accelerated their process. They didn't want to risk losing Minter. So, while I think we can all agree that if you're trying to choose between the two organizations, it's not really a debate. You want to be with the more stable, the more consistent, the more proud, and the organization that has the quarterback versus what they have in Vegas. Granted, I get it. Tom Brady is a minority owner within that group, and they're going to have the number one overall pick, who probably, I would guess, will be bringing Fernando Mendoza to Allegiant Stadium for the foreseeable future. But clearly, the Raiders' part in this altered the Ravens' timing. They ultimately did not feel like they could wait until beyond championship weekend to go take another close look at the Clint Kubiaks of the world, the Davis Webbs of the world, the Chris Shulas, the Nate Shieldhouses, so on and so forth. And as a result, they go and get their guy, Jesse Minter, from the Chargers back to Baltimore, where he already spent multiple years under John Harbaugh. Suntan Superman MMA writes, go get the third Kubiak brother off of the Dallas staff. Justin writes, the Raiders were going to offer Minter the job, so that's why the Ravens had to move quickly on him, because they did not want to lose him, which is exactly what Jeff was just suggesting a short while ago in that tweet that I read. Chris writes, great value, Mike McDonald. Feels underwhelming. Well, Chris, time will tell. You heard what Jimmy Smith had to say. He referred to him as Mike McDonald-ish. And until we know anything else, and until we see Jesse Minter when the bullets are flying, you can't really play the comparison game. And obviously, you got to give the guy a chance. He was top 5, top 10 in most significant defensive categories throughout the last couple of years, and in this season in particular for the Chargers. Draydog679 says Navarro Bowman will be the defensive coordinator. Watch my word. That we will. We will watch your word, Draydog. Tony Jefferson, former Raven, who spent the last couple years with the Chargers organization. I just texted him attempting to get him on the show, so we'll have to wait and see if he pops into the waiting room. But he just tweeted, proud of you, bro. Go kill it. Well deserved, my guy. Remember, they have a close relationship because not only did they overlap in Baltimore, but then they both ended up with the Chargers under Jim Harbaugh. And so while some of you out there might feel some type of way about how this isn't a clean slate, if you will, from John Harbaugh, the bottom line is Steve Bisciotti, his hiring council, I'm sure several key players in leadership roles all ultimately signed off on this. And as a result, 42-year-old Jesse Minter is coming to Baltimore to serve as just the fourth head coach in 30 years of franchise history. He'll turn 43 in May. And I've already ripped off his entire career history as a coach, which stems back to 2006 as a defensive intern in South Bend for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. He was a CFP national champion defensive play caller in 23 with Michigan. He's got a boatload of play calling experience at both the collegiate and NFL level, and now the Ravens are giving him a shot. And you guys showed up and showed out, man. Over 4,200 concurrents and counting. Needless to say, thank you for being with me tonight. Guest lines will be opening up shortly. Steve writes, don't hate the hire. More like meh. Just thought there was going to be fresh coaching tree, but it feels like more of the same. And Steve, I'm not saying that you're in the minority or you're on a no man's land island with that sentiment. But at the same time, I think you have to separate those feelings about Harbaugh and dig into what really matters. And what matters is the substance in this case. And the substance is that Jesse has coordinated championship caliber defenses at both levels, the highest levels of the sport. And Jesse has come up the right way. And Jesse emerged from a major pack of candidates. And the Ravens went about this the right way. And so ultimately, I would challenge you to allow the hiring team led by Steve Bisciotti, who made his hay, who became a billionaire in this industry, not in the football industry, but in the cultivating, development, hiring industry. Recruiting, envisioning, and building. And that's how he's maintained the stability, the longevity, the consistency, and the success that this organization has long been known for over 30 years. Edwin Rice writes, I'm good with Minter. He'll be good. He was my third option behind Kubiak and Flores. The key will be the offensive coordinator pick. I think Anthony Weaver comes back to Baltimore as DC if he's not picked as head coach somewhere else. Perhaps. Anthony is still in the running, to your point, in Pittsburgh and elsewhere at the head coach position. And being that there's a new era in Miami with Jeff Hafley, I can't imagine he's going to be going back to serve that same position where he's been the last couple of years under Mike McDaniel with the Dolphins. Suntan Superman MMA writes, he unlocked Owe, who did nothing for us this year. And you want to know what Adafe did in the postseason for the Chargers? Yeah, it was one and done. Not for a lack of effort on his side of the ball. He had 3 sacks. He was all over the field for them. He was setting postseason franchise records for the Chargers, all under the tutelage of Jesse Minter. John Schwartz says, welcome to Baltimore, Jesse Minter. So excited. John, thank you for being here. And thanks to all of you for being here as well, helping me cover what is a significant day in Ravens history. Guys, the bottom line is Jesse was due in Cleveland today. Jesse spent the majority of yesterday with the Ravens at one winning drive, a place where he spent multiple years under John Harbaugh. And as Jordan Schultz reported earlier, NFL Insider, he was told that it went really well. And as of this afternoon, he was in strong consideration for the job. So much so, according to Mary Kay Cabot and others, he canceled his in-person visit to Cleveland, suggesting that there may be a handshake deal in place. Well, clearly there was a little bit more than a handshake. There he is, guys. Soak it in. The John Harbaugh era ended over 2 weeks ago. It was January 6th. And here we are, what, 16 days later or so? 17 candidates later, several finalists later, or second interviews later, and they find their guy. De Niro is back, and he writes, this franchise deserves and has earned the grace. You may like the tree he comes from, but you may not like the tree he comes from, but this organization has always given us a contender. Let's go. Josina Anderson says, and this is a source from someone she's speaking to across the league, that someone told her he did a great job with the interview and the Ravens were won over as a result. Quote, leadership, ability to connect with players, and strategic expertise. That from NFL insider Josina Anderson. And Lamont says, now if we can fix our offensive line, guys, it'll be a collaborative effort between Jesse and the front office led by Eric DaCosta and his scouting department to fix what was one of the weakest links on all 3 phases team-wide a year ago, and certainly contributed to Lamar Jackson's wear and tear physically. Ike on the mic writes, we wanted McDonald and he's from the same tree. Let's give Minter a shot. I think it's a fair way of looking at it. This is Jesse's first shot, and I get it. It comes 2 years removed from potentially being able to move on from Harbaugh after an AFC Championship game appearance and promote Mike McDonald from within. Instead, Seattle did their due diligence, and boy, has that decision paid off for the Seahawks through 2 years. They are 1 game away from going to the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold under center. Jay Wavy says they're going to hate Jesse because they hate Harbs, and Jesse is from that Harbaugh tree. I don't know how to measure who they is or they are, but they're entitled to their opinion. And until we see the type of contender, the type of organization, the type of defense, the type of quarterback that Lamar Jackson is under Jesse Minter's tutelage, how can we really truly sit here and write him or anybody about this entire operation or any aspect of this entire operation off? Nothing should be written off. Everything is on the table. It will come with a level of risk, as any first-year candidate does. How funny is it to look back at Steve Bisciotti's comments from last week related to ex-coaches being keenly aware of their circumstances? Oh, Steve, never changed. That press conference, especially after watching Terry Pagula's yesterday, was something else. Joe Jenkins writes, got to give him a chance. Winning quiets the naysayers. Dark Thunder 35 says coaching tree, to use the quote that was shared earlier on, is an overrated term. Harbaugh is from Andy Reid's tree and is nothing like him. Minters turned the Chargers defense around overnight. I already shared those statistics from what was a stellar season, and I'll share them again in just a second, just in case you guys need to see it rather than hear it from me. And I never even put that up. Here's your super chat, Dark Thunder. I was just reading it. Sorry about that. Wanted to make sure I display that up on the screen for you. Nick Clemens writes, Travis Kelce, Hall of Famer, absolutely raved about Jesse on New Heights. Ramey has it on his Twitter. This is a big day, Ravens fans. To everyone complaining, go for a walk and get some air. Let's ride. Go touch grass, Nick says. Jeff Zaribek, as of moments ago on Twitter, just told someone to get your ass there when Justin Cosgrove, one of his followers, says, we need an emergency podcast. Jeff says, 8:30, Justin. Get your ass there. You guys know we're going right up until that, don't you? Thank God for Factor, because tonight's a night where I'm not going to be able to cook and I'm not going to be able to do anything. No Uber Eats. We're going to go over to the fridge, 5 feet to my right, after we go 2+ hours on this program, grab some food, throw it in the microwave, heat it up, thanks to Factor, shameless plug, and thanks to them for sponsoring the program. Go visit the show notes and or the live chat pinned comment right now to go get 50% off on your first order. Dreams is already looking at the draft. Draft Caden McDonald or trade for Crosby, meaning Max. Hashtag we move. Dreams, thanks for the super chat. Vashon Nutt Jr. Is it Vashon or Vashon? Let me know. Who is the most likely offensive coordinator? Only works great if he handles his side of the ball and lets an experienced offensive coordinator cook with 8. That's the biggest question now moving forward. Is there a correlation between Joe Brady's visit that was not canceled today and perhaps some interest there on the organization side? Is there chatter and correlation with yesterday's news from Diana Rossini on Cliff Kingsbury, who I believe is one of the hottest play caller candidates out there after 2 years with the Commanders and leading what was a historic offense a season ago with Jaden Daniels healthy in his rookie season? Time will tell on that front. But that certainly is a major order of business moving forward when you look at it from the perspective of next agenda items, if you will. Want to say thanks to FanDuel for sponsoring the program. FanDuel will be with me all of 2026. Let's take a close look at the Super Bowl 60 odds, the final 4 right here, sportsbook.fanduel.com. And of course, leading the way is Mike McDonald's Seattle Seahawks at plus 155. Really difficult place to play. Best of luck, Rams. What a legendary matchup that might be. Matthew Stafford going for Super Bowl number 2. Same thing with Sean McVay. Seattle, the favorite at plus 155. LA, meanwhile, at plus 200. Mike Vrabel, Coach of the Year candidate and a finalist. His New England Patriots turned things around quickly in year 1 at plus 250. And the Denver Broncos, who will be led by Jarrett Stidham after Bo Nix fractured a bone in his ankle, the long shot at plus 1,100. Some NBA same game parlay bets to take a look at before the Warriors and Mavericks tip off tonight in Dallas. Take a look at that if you're interested. All leagues, by the way, are available, including hockey, engulfed in their season right now, and you see everything that you could do. Sportsbook.fanduel.com. Special thanks to them for the continued support of the program. Kaifi Profan writes, 18 years with John, and the fans must be seeing ghosts. The first interception the defense gets is going to wake you all non-believers up. I promise. Let's effing go. Guys, we all know what this defense has to do better, must do better moving forward. This defense has to take the ball away. This defense has to put the offense and give them more chances and put them in a position for success during this month. They have not done that consistently throughout the Lamar Jackson era. They have not shown up with an impactful pass rush throughout the Lamar Jackson era this month. And that certainly came back to bite them and reared its ugly head throughout times of this year. That's post-deadline, post-acquisition of Draymond Jones, and of course, pre-acquisition of Draymond Jones. We'll see if they prioritize bringing him back. Don writes, Zach Orr equals Pinto. Now we have Minter equals Mustang. Let's effing go. Would Zach come back as the linebackers coach? Probably not. I would think, if anything, being that the Cowboys went in a different direction at defensive coordinator after initially interviewing him. I think that was a virtual interview. Not sure if that was virtual or not. Doesn't he spend his offseason down in Texas? Can't remember. But anyway, I would say that more likely that Zach ends up with the Giants under John Harbaugh's staff in New York. Sudesh writes, I like Jesse Minter. My choice was him or Clint Kubiak. Nick Clemens says, just a thought, Bobby Petrino for offensive coordinator. Nobody believed in Lamar like Bobby did. He created the monster at Louisville. Nick, he was actually just hired to serve as that role, I believe, at offensive coordinator under Bill Belichick in Chapel Hill. So he's got himself a job right now, and he's out of retirement. Nagasaki writes, excited for the hire. People must have really forgotten how it felt in 2008 when we got Harbs. He is going to be exactly what we need. Got to nail the offensive coordinator. And there's no question that that becomes not only the next order of business, but a significant order of business that they must get right. And Lamar Jackson must find himself intimately involved in that process. And based on what Diana Rossini reported last night, it sure seems like he already has been. Coopman35 writes, please make Joe Brady offensive coordinator. Look, guys, I'll continue to speculate on that. I have absolutely no reason to believe that there is a correlation, aside from just speculation, on why they did not cancel today's in-person visit and a finalist interview with Joe Brady. But being that there were reports out there that these interviews were kind of being used in twofold fashion, if you will, to talk to head coaches, to talk to head coach candidates for that role, and potentially, if they're an offensive mind, the offensive play caller role, then maybe, just maybe, one of these guys from the pack of 17 on the offensive side of the ball emerges as Lamar Jackson's future play caller in 2026. That would not surprise me. Guys, in Jesse Minter's 2 seasons as the DC in Los Angeles, the Chargers allowed the 3rd fewest points in the entire league at 18.9. Only the Broncos and the Eagles were above them in that category. All 3 levels. JP Bugs writes, another name to consider for defensive coordinator is Steve Clinkscale. Steve Clinkscale. Let's get brushed up on Steve. He's the defensive backs coach for the Chargers. He's been there since 2024. Same thing. Jim brought him from that Michigan staff. He was the co-defensive coordinator and defensive backs coach from 22 to 23 in Michigan. Prior to that, he was the DBs coach at Michigan. Won a national title with that group in 23 and J.J. McCarthy. Will be very interesting to see just how much overlap, if any at all, is there here from Jesse's time in Baltimore, 1. 2, not only Jesse's time in Baltimore, but Jesse's time over the last couple years in Los Angeles. And maybe even it dates back to his time in Michigan as well. Good stuff, JP. I gotta dig in a little bit more on Steve Clinkscale for sure. Laura Top Life is celebrating 1 month of channel membership. Laura, thank you very much. Hopefully this means I can finally get Bobby out of the house for happy hour. Yes, I did have to respectfully skip a happy hour rooftop invite with apparently what was littered with single women a week ago. It's not often that I pass up opportunities like that, so thank you, Laura. TJ Mack writes, I'm 24 minutes behind and catching up, but I love the hire. What's Mack and Bosa up to? TJ's like, hey, let's go ahead and poach some players from Los Angeles. Tavon Young, former Raven. Crazy to see people elevate to the next level. Congrats, Coach Jesse. Baltimore got a good one. Believe it. That from former Raven, Tavon Young. Tony Jefferson. Proud of you, bro. Go kill it. Well deserved, my guy. And let me just take a quick look. And I'm glad I did, because Tony Jefferson is joining the program. Former Raven safety. Very much looking forward to having Tony on the program for some instant reaction. Shimmy Boy writes, I like the hire. Thought it was Ravens hype hire based on scheme fit. Needs to be better on run defense. Can't have other teams controlling the clock. Let's see. And stop with the damn tree comments. Just so we're clear here, I have the run defense from this past season, the statistical run defense that Jesse Minter's group finished, statistically speaking. They were the 8th ranked group, 105.4 rushing yards allowed on average throughout the regular season. That number went a little bit north in the playoffs at 146, and they allowed 16 total rushing touchdowns throughout. So again, a top-ranked unit in that category against the run, just to be clear. Over 4,600 concurrents and counting. Azrael says, Bobby, it's going to be Greg Ruman. Say his name. You know, I wasn't all, just a couple weeks ago, I said that Greg would be a darn good run game coordinator, didn't I? Yes, I did. Don't know how realistic that is in Baltimore, seeing as how he was the offensive coordinator in Los Angeles, and it wasn't all long ago that he was fired by the Ravens. But I think he would make a damn good run game coordinator. I know. Reserve your comments, reserve your judgment. If you're just tuning in, Jesse Minter. I'm guessing I know why you're here. Jesse Minter is the 4th head coach in Ravens franchise history. Eric DeCosta released a statement referring to Jesse as a strong leader who possesses a brilliant football mind and a spirit that will resonate with our players and fan base alike. Jesse comes from a football family with success at every level of the sport, and we are confident that he is the right coach to lead the Ravens forward. Congratulations to Jesse and his wife, Rochelle, and the entire Minter family. It's time to get to work. One of 3 statements that I'll catch you up to speed on, just in case you're just tuning in this evening. From head coach Jesse Minter himself, I am truly honored to serve as the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. This is an organization whose values, culture, and tradition of excellence reflect everything I believe about the game of football and how it should be played. My family and I are thrilled to join the Ravens flock, and we can't wait to make the fans, the great city of Baltimore, and Maryland proud. And one final statement from the boss man himself, who lit it up last week and gave one of the most exceptional press conferences you will hear. Team owner, Steve Bisciotti. Jesse was impressive throughout our incredibly thorough interview process. He clearly understands the values, high expectations, and history of the Ravens, and he was a great vision. I should say he has a great vision for the future. Jesse's football acumen is outstanding, and that's been proven by the impact he's made throughout his entire coaching career. He's also a leader who will authentically connect with our players and inspire them to championship levels. I want to thank Eric DeCosta, Sashi Brown, and our entire selection committee for the work they poured into this process. It was clear to us that Jesse is a special talent who has what it takes to lead us as head coach of the Ravens. I watched Eric work closely with John Harbaugh for years. It was evident how excited he and Sashi are to now partner with Jesse as our organization strives to chase championships. I appreciate you guys for being with me this evening. Almost 60 minutes worth of coverage down, and we are talking all things Jesse Minter, former Ravens safety, who just spent the last couple years in Charger country, playing good ball, by the way, and resurrecting his career. Tony Jefferson, fan favorite, will join me here tonight. He's a great Raven, man. I know he's going to have a lot of great things to say. And remember, Tony temporarily retired and worked in Eric DeCosta's scouting department before unretiring and joining the Chargers. Cannot wait to bring him on. Suntan Superman MMA says, don't worry, Bobby. You can always find a new date. A new Ravens coach only comes around every 18 years. Hope she understands. Thanks for your sacrifice. You're welcome. You're welcome. Wes Hall writes, the Ravens put out a Minter is coming post. Tough. Really like this hire. Open up the damn guest lines. Who you talking to, Wes? Well, let's do exactly that then, shall we? Should we open up these guest lines? I want to say thanks to Preston Automotive Group for the continued support of the program. If you guys haven't already done so and you are in the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle in 2026, I would love for you to scan the QR code in the upper right-hand corner, which will bring you to my specific and specialized landing page. Preston Automotive Group is all throughout the DMV, all throughout Baltimore, and at any one of their DMV area, including Baltimore area locations, there are 2 exclusive offers that if you are a tier, if you are a channel member, if you are a subscriber, you are eligible for. They're going to allow you to cash in on a $500 credit towards a new or pre-owned vehicle. And or if you buy 4 tires, you'll receive 50% off your alignment at PrestonMotor.com. You can contact them by filling out this form. Simply take a look at all their dealership locations all throughout. They've got a hefty, close presence on the Eastern Shore. Preston Ford West is my home location. When I'm in the Baltimore area, that's just off of Liberty Road. And you can break down everything among their 3,942 vehicles in the available inventory section by searching make, model, keyword, price, vehicle condition, year, make, location. They're my longest standing sponsor. And guys, it's days like today where I am tremendously grateful to have this platform. This is what we do it here for. Needless to say, I appreciate you guys for being with me. Let's open up these guest lines. If you'd like to share a thought, join via the link that I'm dropping in to the live chat right now. Let's open them up. I've already made you wait 60 minutes. Guest lines are open. I will pin the comment. And let's get to it. Timber writes, I like this hire. The defense is legit. Chargers fans are hotter than 2 hamsters in a wool sack. Now it's Davis Webb, Kingsbury, or that fella from the 49ers. My Timber shivered. Never seems to miss these days with his ridiculously fantastic, carefully crafted super chats. I will address more as they come in. 90 seconds is on the clock. No more, maybe no less. Get your thoughts in. Be concise for me. Be quick. Be thoughtful. And let's open up these damn guest lines, which are already at capacity. Off we go. In order of how you came in. We are instantly reacting to the breaking news at hand. It's an historic day in Baltimore. Jesse Minter has been named the 4th head coach in Ravens franchise history. And with that, we open them up. King Judah, Mr. Ravens football, Trey, Nate, Oscar, Wes. Let's get to it. Welcome, brother. You talk to me tonight. What's on your mind? Jesse Minter is the
Well, I'm happy about it. I'm happy
Baltimore
about it.
Ravens. King Judah, Take it away. 90 seconds on the clock starting now.
Yeah, man, I'm happy about the signing, mostly because, I was told by the chat that he was a defensive guy, so I was looking for a defensive guy. But when I read why the Ravens hired him, I started to get nervous about it because everything they read off, it looked like they were looking for another John Harbaugh. They said that he can connect with the players and inspire them, and he nailed the interview, and he was all about culture. I mean, I didn't hear anything about his philosophy on defense. I wanted them to talk about the success that they saw that led them to make this hiring. I didn't hear any of that. What I heard was Bisciotti lost a good friend in Harbaugh because it was time to go, and then he hired somebody that reminded him of Harbaugh. That's my biggest fear, is that that's the only reason they hired this guy. You know what I mean?
There will be plenty of time for all that. There's going to be plenty of time for all that. There's going to be a press conference. Yeah. He's going to field questions from the media, and he's going to have a true chance to make his lasting impact and an impression, most importantly, on guys like you. And that's coming next week, probably.
I got you. And another thing is, I did hear that the only knock on his defensive play calling was he was bad on the run. But the good news is we have the personnel to stop the run. With our two good interior linemen with Matabike and Travis Jones, if Matabike comes back. And we have two good, smart linebackers in Buchanan and Rowe. So I think that's something that's going to work out in his favor. We have the personnel to stop the run. So I'm happy about that. I think we'll be okay.
Judith, thanks, brother. Appreciate the call tonight. Guest lines are open. Mr. Ravens football, 90 seconds on the clock. I got to think, as you have been throughout this entire process, you're overjoyed that a new era begins today.
Oh, I'm a big fan of this. I've been around the Ravens since '96. I sat back and I didn't care who they picked because I trusted them. Because every time they pick somebody, they last, and they do good. And even every coach they've had so far has at least one Super Bowl. And right there, I'm going to show you something. That right there, that's a Super Bowl Wheaties box. Okay, I've had that. I couldn't tell you how long. That's my pride and joy right there. But he's going to get us another one. I can feel it, and it's going to be quick. And we're probably going to get more than one. And Lamar Jackson. The good thing is, I think Lamar Jackson wants to work with him. And honestly, OC, I'm thinking Kingsbury. Yeah, I think he's going to be your OC. I really do. And then defensive coordinator, I'm not sure. I'm up in the air with that. But the offensive coordinator. I'm pretty sure is going to be Kingsbury. I'm almost positive.
In the coming days ahead, we're going to sink our teeth into Chargers assistants, Chargers members of the staff, Michigan guys, right? We're going to start to look at the Jesse Minter tree that will start to form as he puts his staff together, and we can line up those candidates. The insiders will start to get fed from various agent spaces, and it's going to be a lot of fun as the staff comes together.
Go enjoy Bobby.
Enjoy the day. Mr. Ravens football. I know you will. The guest lines are open. Trey, welcome to the program. 90 seconds on the clock. We're just cooking through tonight. Jesse Minter is the fourth head coach in Ravens franchise history. Take it away. The floor is yours.
Yep. Well, I kind of want to bring some light to my guy Judah. You're gonna see it. I feel like everybody that's been Kubiak trained, I have no hate against Kubiak. I think he's a good coordinator. But what you guys are going to witness with Jesse is how smart he is and how aware he is with their players. He's so intelligent with his players. He knows their strengths. He's going to feed to their strengths, and he's going to provide all that in this press conference. He's going to show it every game. He's going to get you pumped up. When I watch Chargers games, like I've watched a decent amount of them, the defense just loves playing defense. That's what you're going to watch. You're going to watch somebody with passion. You're going to watch a defensive team with passion. And it's going to show throughout the whole entire stadium that everybody's just going to be pumped up. You don't understand how many Charger fans right now that are so upset because they were always pumped up for Jesse Minter. They didn't want him to leave. They wanted him over. They wanted McDaniel. It's that big of a difference. I want Raven fans to really pay attention to how big of a difference that Jesse Minter is going to make this defense. That's all I have to say.
I like it, Trey. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Travis Kelce spoke on Jesse Minter at one point on his New Heights podcast.
That dude, I mean, he has got shit figured out. Yeah, he's killing it.
I mean, I was talking to Pat, and there was one time in the game where it was a big third down, I think, and he put together a blitz that we had not seen before on tape, and got us pretty good there. But yeah, shout out to Jesse. He's absolutely killing it. Coach Mentor, couldn't be more proud to say that I was once your scout team quarterback. And
okay, that's pretty encouraging words coming from the Hall of Famer. Thanks to those of you. Somebody super chatted me that. Let's give him his credit. Who was it now? Somebody tipped me off on that clip. Let's see. Who was it? Thank you to Nick Clemens for tipping me off on that. Appreciate you. Hayes0939 says Minter/Winter is coming. For those of you that are in the eye of this northeast storm that's coming, I wish you the best. Stay safe out there. And if anybody thinks that Jesse's a pretty boy, why don't we go to some film from when Michigan took down Ohio State? Coming to a stadium near you, Jesse Minter waving to the Ohio State Buckeye faithful. That is your next head coach. That's somebody you can get behind, Nate. Pause. Welcome to the program. 90 seconds on the clock. Your thoughts tonight.
Hey, Bobby. I'm calling in from Brazil. Normally I'm in New York, but I'm pretty excited with the hire. I think Kubiak would have been nice, but it's hard to wait all the way until playoffs are done to figure that out. And I think the familiarity with Minster will be nice. I'm more just interested to see what he does with OC and DC. So we'll be looking forward to that over the next few days. And it'd be interesting to see what Bisciotti does for budget, since the Giants forked out so much money for Harbaugh's staff, whether they're competitive on that front. It'd be nice if we can get someone like Weaver, but obviously he's getting some head coaching. So, I don't know. That's all I have. I've been following. I've loved all the coverage today. Thanks so much, Bobby. You and Sarah been killing it.
Thanks, man. Enjoy Brazil. I spent a month there covering the Olympics in 2016. I lived in Copacabana Beach, and what an amazing place that is. So thanks for the call, Nate. Appreciate your time tonight. The guest lines are open. You've probably already figured that out. There's a link to join that's right now in the live chat. It's a pinned comment. I do still have plans of bringing on Tony Jefferson at some point. He will make his way into the waiting room, so I look forward to bringing him on. Zayad writes, one last dono as flow before I become Shieldhouse. I have no idea what any of that means, but I know you've been on Brian Flores' candidacy for weeks, Zayad. When I mean that, you've been on his jockstrap. Appreciate the super chat. Wes, 90 seconds on the clock. Talk to me, brother. It's good to have you. You were bitching about the show not going to guest lines, and you get what you want.
I gotta help the community out, Bobby. I gotta get this thing up and running if you're not going to.
Floor is yours. Let me reset. Floor is yours.
I really like the hire. I'm really glad we could get Nate Bargatze's twin brother as our next head coach. I think anybody who's questioning whether or not he's a good coach, a good defensive mind, questioning the X's and O's, whatever, just look at what he's done in LA. His defense is ranked top 10 consistently. He got Odafe Owe and made him look like prime fucking Lawrence Taylor out there. I mean, come on. He had 7.5 sacks. If he was there for a whole year, he could have gotten 15, 16 sacks. Who's to say? As far as the offensive coordinator, or I saw somebody in the chat earlier saying that, we're just ruining things for Lamar, whatever. You're a dumbass if you think that Lamar said, fuck this guy, I don't want him, and they hired him anyway. Lamar had to say, I'm sure there is a plan for the offensive coordinator. We just don't know who it is yet. But to think that we're going in not knowing who the OC is going to be, or they didn't know who he was going to pick for OC, and that OC wouldn't align with Lamar, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. They know ahead of time what the fuck's going to happen. We just don't. It's fun to speculate. I'm just glad the anxiety is over. I'm glad we finally have a name, and I'm looking forward to the season.
Wes, great stuff, brother. The fire as always, my man. Enjoy this. I want to keep reiterating that. Enjoy this, right? Enjoy this. This does not come around all that often from a Ravens perspective, and who knows when the next time it will come around, for their sake, for the Ravens' sake, for Jesse's sake, for Lamar's sake. Hopefully it's well over a decade from now if they got it right. Zayad writes, Bishotti, hire me. Shieldhouse has arrived. McVay, us. Perhaps Shieldhouse gets an opportunity. The pass game coordinator under Sean. He's going to coach this weekend. He's done wonders for several quarterbacks since he came into the league. Sean McVay gave him an opportunity. He's the former Illinois quarterback, lit it up. He was undrafted in 2014. Does Nate have a say in this when it's all said and done, meaning his candidacy as a potential first-time offensive coordinator? We'll have to see. And feel free to use your 90 seconds, gentlemen, on your candidacy thoughts for next offensive coordinator. Perhaps there's a correlation between Joe Brady's visit and his candidacy, meaning his visit not getting canceled today, a day after they clearly gave Jesse either a verbal or a handshake deal or anything along those lines after they spent all day yesterday at one winning drive where clearly he did enough to win over the Ravens counseling team, the Ravens hiring team, and ultimately they have found their guy. I want to go play that Travis Kelce clip again once more from New Heights. This is impressive.
That dude, I mean, he has got shit figured out.
Yeah, he's killing it.
I mean, I was talking to Pat, and there was one time in the game where it was a big third down, I think, and he put together a blitz that we had not seen before on tape, and got us pretty good there. But yeah, shout out to Jesse. He's absolutely killing it. Coach Mentor, couldn't be more proud to say that I was once your scout team quarterback.
The Hall of Famer with some high praise there, significant praise for Jesse Minter. His first words are up on the screen right now. And if you're just tuning in, he released a statement through the Ravens. I am truly honored to serve as the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. This is an organization whose values, culture, and tradition of excellence reflect everything I believe about the game of football and how it should be played. My family and I are thrilled to join the Ravens flock, and we can't wait to make the fans, the great city of Baltimore, and Maryland proud. That from your next head coach, just the fourth in franchise history who's coming to Baltimore to try and bring Lamar Jackson and company a title. Back to the guest lines we go. I appreciate you guys for being with me tonight. If you could continue to like the video on your way in, subscribe, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or a gift-giving membership this evening. You can connect with me on Twitter. We'll be very active there in the hours and days ahead. You can connect with me at Bobby Baltimore. You can connect with me on Instagram as well, at Bobby Baltimore. I'll drop links into the live chat. There's actually links right now in the show notes if you find it easier over there. Off we go. 90 seconds on the clock. You don't see him for months, and then he shows up twice within 72 hours. Malcolm, 90 on the clock. Your thoughts on Jesse Minter's hire?
It ain't who I want, but, I like it enough. My biggest thing is he can figure out the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been the issue. I mean, he made Odafe look like a stud. Odafe look like he was washed. When he goes over there, he plays well. And again, I'm looking at who we can beat the Chiefs. So the Chiefs are going to be back next year. As far as offense, I'm an open book. I definitely want an experienced play caller. I don't want somebody new. I mean, Mike McDaniel went to the Chargers, so that's not going to happen. So we'll have to see. But maybe we can get Anthony Weaver as a DC. I'd like to see what he could do. And offensive coordinator, we'll see. I'm going to put my faith in whoever Lamar feels he can rock with. That's what I think.
I like it, brother. Good seeing you, man. Enjoy this process. Later. Guest lines are open. DeBruz, a.k.a. Charles, in the house. Let's reset your clock. 90 up on it. Floor is yours.
Bobby, what's up, baby?
Good to see you, man.
Listen, I got my godson here. He's learning. He's learning from us right now. So, listen, this is my take. He was my second candidate, but it was close between him and Flores. So, defensive coaches is especially feeding into what our culture is exactly what I wanted. Somebody that's able to make adjustments on the fly to be able to get the defense where they wanted to be. Because we could easily say, if the defense would have been ranked in the top 12, we wouldn't even be having this conversation this year of where this team would have finished, because the OC, the offense would have came out. Now, as far as offensive coordinator, give me Cliff Kingsbury, man. And I'm going to tell you why. Use his first year with Washington as the sample size of what he's able to do when his team is fully healthy. Jaden Daniels got hurt last year, so I don't think that is an aggregate. That would be asking us to say, is Todd Monken better with Lamar Jackson or Huntley? It is similar, right? His left tackle was out. Give me Cliff Kingsbury how he's able to adjust, and he took that team with a rookie quarterback one game before the Super Bowl. We talk about adjustments. He has the experience of being the head coach, even if he wasn't a good one. He has the ability to make adjustments in games and make good decisions. So give me Cliff Kingsbury, and it's a wrap, man.
Thanks, brother. Good stuff. Oh, you were ready to go on that one. I know that. 90 seconds on the clock, and he took every last second. The guest lines are open if you'd like to share a thought with me. Still hoping that Tony Jefferson will pop in at some point here. Former Raven safety. He spent his last couple years resurrecting his NFL career with the Chargers under Jim Harbaugh and under Jesse Minter. They also know each other very well from their time in Baltimore. This is going to be a lot of fun. 90 seconds. We will have an episode, an impromptu special coverage bonus episode, as Jeff just tweeted, inside the collective, coming up at 8:30. 96 minutes from right now. I canceled a date to be here tonight. You know how much I love you people? I canceled a goddamn second date tonight for you. Yeah, waiting room, you can clap. Take a bow while you're at it, or I'm supposed to bow, I guess. That's how much I love you. This has been 16 days. I'm spitting. It's been 16 days in the making. Round the clock coverage. Until Factor came on and sponsored the program, shitty Uber Eats Chinese food. A lot of skipped morning workouts. Terrible communication from me on Hinge. But we're here now, aren't we? And this has the makings of an exceptional offseason ahead that's just getting started. I appreciate each and every single one of you for allowing me to build a platform that not only allows me to build a livelihood and build a business, but hopefully in turn allows you to form community. Feel excited about the team that you fan for, the team that you invest in, the team that you've loved throughout maybe your entire love of sports and your childhood and your life. Whether it's inside the vault, whether it's the late afternoon hours, getting toxic at times inside this channel, or whether it's inside the collective with Jeff and Cole and myself, which we began over the summer. Jesse Minter will be introduced as the next head coach of the Ravens on Thursday. That's Thursday of next week. So a week from today, you're going to have to wait a little while. And I'm sure maybe he'll have a staff that starts to materialize between now and then. Or maybe he'll wait until after the Super Bowl. We'll have to see. But the Ravens have made it clear. And actually, I've only seen one tweet on it. Jerry Coleman's tweeted it, that the Ravens will introduce Jesse next Thursday at a press conference. Juice Man Vaughn writes, I'm glad we have a head coach who's creative and can unlock players, especially on the defensive side. What he's going to be able to do with the likes of Hamilton will be legendary. And he's already had the likes of Derwin James, a similar talent, cut from the same cloth, universally recognized as the 1-2 greats at their respective positions. And not respective positions. They're both safeties. They're both chess pieces. They're both dogs. And Derwin himself has spoken very highly on the record of Jesse.
I feel like Minter would make a good head coach.
Yeah. He make whatever he want to be. Yeah.
Why is that?
Because he's that guy. He that leader, alpha. Man, he's not looking around. He alpha, man. The guys play hard for him, man. And I just feel like he's just that dude, man. Every day you know what you're going to get with him. You know, he consistent, man.
Are you worried that he's...
I ain't worried about that right now, man. We locked in right now. We're going to keep going. But hopefully, man, he ain't going nowhere. Hopefully.
Oh, he's going somewhere, though, Derwin. And Derwin knows it. He tweeted out in response to the news Earned. So happy for you, coach. Love you, big dog. That from Derwin to Jesse. And Juice Man Vaughn, that interaction right there is legendarily telling, isn't it? It's telling. That's what it is. Die Hard Eddie writes, mofos need to stop crying. Y'all wanted John gone and it happened. We got someone that's not a special teams coach and y'all still mad. Grow up and give the man a chance to prove himself. Eddie from the top rope. Let a naysayer know, Eddie. Shout out and hat tip to McAfee. Justin Kessler writes, are there people out there who think they hired someone who didn't have a plan for Lamar? Come on now. Lamar was involved in the process. No shot Lamar didn't like Minter, and they hire him anyways. I concur, Justin. And Jeff has noted that of the many fans that Jesse has in that building, Lamar is among them. Remember, they overlapped for multiple years before Jesse bolted to Vanderbilt to serve as defensive coordinator, where he was during the 2021 season. Lamar was drafted in 2018. Jesse was brought in 17 as a defensive assistant under John. Nick Clemens, right? That quote, Ravens signed Tony Jefferson to a one-year deal is going to hit like crack. We'll ask Tony point blank if and when he comes on. He's told me that he's coming on. I may need to be more specific with what time I want him on. But I do look forward to bringing Tony inside this conversation. Stephanie writes, you're awesome, Bobby. Thanks for all you do. Super excited for this hire. Stephanie, I'm super excited to have you as part of our community. Thank you for your kind words, and thank you for the super chat. Compensatory Prick says, I'm binging Minter interviews, and the same refreshing word keeps coming up. Creativity. From game to game, drive to drive, play to play, creativity. Really looking forward to the Mint era. Compensatory pick with the prick, that is, with the best game, the best username in the game. Clinton writes, some good news to wake up to. Good morning, Clinton. I wanted Clint Kubiak, but hey, we still got to find someone that Lamar wants at offensive coordinator. Let's go Ravens. Appreciate you, Clint, Oklahoma's finest. Zayad writes, can we steal McDaniel? Him or Shield equals happy. Steal him. Jack Hack writes, not saying he can't win a Super Bowl, but it is a fact. The last 7 straight Super Bowls have been won by offensive-minded head coaches. Hopes that changes. That changes. Kyle Van Noy checking in. Jesse Minter is definitely that. Excited to see what he does. KVN, one of the pending free agents. Lurch from the 410 writes, now that we have Minter for head coach, I think we will bring in Weaver for DC and Kingsbury for OC. We'll see if a team out there like Pittsburgh decides to pounce on Anthony Weaver, who's still in the head coach process. D. Covington, what's up, Darian? Bobby's out here canceling dates and breaking hearts for Ravens Nation. Thanks for your dedication. I'm looking forward to seeing the talent Minter unlocks from the roster and who he brings in with him. Darian, thank you. There's nobody that I'd rather cancel a day for than you people, than you mofos. Appreciate each and every one of you for making this possible. I would love for you to follow me on Instagram. I'm going to drop the chat in here. Support me on all platforms. Connect with me on all platforms. Follow along on all platforms. I just dropped the link to my Instagram in there. There will be content on there throughout this entire offseason. And Twitter, you already know there's going to be a lot of Jesse Minter content to come. Just drop that link in there. And while I do, let's get back to the guest lines. Appreciate you guys for being with me this evening. 90 seconds on the clock. JJ, you with me? 90 seconds on the clock. Guest lines are open. There's a pinned comment right now in the live chat. Adam Schefter talking about Jesse Minter right now. It's a 5-year deal. It's a 5-year contract for 42-year-old Jesse Minter. Your thoughts on it? Jesse, the floor is yours. Or excuse me, Jawan, the floor is yours, brother.
Yes, sir. Shoot. As far as on the pick, I really didn't have a favorite as far as the coaching. But I just wanted to say 2 of the clips that's most telling for me is the the Derwin James clip where he's like not saying much but saying a lot. A person like me, I understand everything he said right there. Dog. And then the Michigan waving at the opposing team as a head coach. If there's gonna be some penalties, it needs to be targeting. No offsides. We need more targeting penalties. We need more nasty. And then lastly, I'll just say we need to get some dogs in the draft. And I think he knows what dogs look like as far as the interior defensive linemen. We need the O-linemen too, just those guards to get shored up. But that's the big step for me next is the coordinators getting picked, and then we getting some dogs in the draft. So
thanks, brother. Appreciate you, JJ. I'm waving to myself up there. Look at your multi-screen effort.
Yeah, man, I was locked
I'm waving
in.
to myself. How you doing, bud?
Yeah.
Brother, JJ, enjoy it. Thanks, brother. Justin, welcome in. 90 seconds on the clock, my guy. Good to see you.
Hey, what's going on, Bobby? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. The floor is yours.
Nice, man. Hey, I've been watching you and Sarah on the vault for a long time, man. First time I'm clocking in on your channel, but yo, the Jesse Minter hire is dope, bro. It's dope because one thing that I was saying about the head coach, and it's my grandbaby in the background, is that
get him on in a second.
when you watch the Pittsburgh Ravens game, you saw Mike Tomlin on the sidelines just fired up with his guys and just getting active. And I was like, man, we need a coach that's going to be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need some energy coming from the top down. So Jesse being the kind of guy that he is, I think he's going to bring good energy. That defensive mind is going to bring back some of those Ray Lewis type days. He's going to get those out of our linebackers and everything. And I think Roquan is probably the one that's over there happiest the most because he's going to get some good play out of Roquan. I don't really know who should be our DC, but I think whoever he brings in is going to be a good match with his style. But for OC, I think either Cliff Kingsbury or we need to try to get his name is slipping my mind right now. But basically somebody that's creative, right? Somebody that we don't even need somebody that's going to stay a long time. But even if we got somebody like Sean McDermott who just got let go, maybe he'll take one to get with Lamar.
Let's do this. Let's come up with a live poll right now. Who should be Jesse Minter's OC? Cliff Kingsbury, Joe Brady. Help me out, guys. Who should be option 3 and 4? Hey, Justin, thank you for the call. People in the live chat want to know, are you related to Nnamdi Madubuike?
Look, I wish, though. Nnamdi cool, man.
Appreciate you, man. All in good fun. Thanks, brother. Guys, help me out here. Who should be candidate number 3 and 4 as I impromptu in real time here come up with, Davis Webb, Cliff Kingsbury, Joe Brady, Davis Webb, and who should be our 4th? Yeah, Shieldhouse. Let's do that. I like that. That's a good 4 right there. Okay. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. Still hoping for Tony Jefferson to join us, but those are your 4. Those are your 4. You guys are funny too with that, aren't you? You are really funny. Wes says Clay Kubiak. Clay Kubiak. He's a potential name. I only had 4 slots, so I went with Davis Webb, Nate Shieldhouse, Cliff Kingsbury, and Joe Brady. That's who I went with for now, just for the purpose of starting this conversation. Then Wes, the Clay Kubiaks of the world, right? The others that'll be out there as candidates, particularly from Jesse's tree that he may have in mind. That'll start to be fleshed out in the coming days ahead. But just for now, that's where we stand. LSC 758 says, thanks, Bobby, for the prompt information. You have been great during all this turmoil. So excited. LSC, great to have you here. Appreciate the love. And by the way, I already have a little bit of time just because, the chat's going crazy tonight. We got over 5,000 concurrents in here across all platforms. I will spend 30 seconds before I get back to the waiting room in just a second. I got to find his name to make sure that I didn't pass over it. But there's a guy, can you imagine being named, and I don't mind the name, but can you imagine Irvin who's bullshitting in my live chat tonight, instead of celebrating, welcoming in and ushering in this new era of Ravens football, he's bullshitting about my potential fandom. Hey, Irvin, call your fucking ass in here tonight and help me usher in this new era of Ravens football. How about that? I'll stand on that tonight. I got a little bit of time and a third Celsius coming up tonight to get ready for the collective in under 90 minutes. Get your sorry ass in here and let's have a conversation, baby. All love. 90 seconds on the clock. Maurice, you've been holding, baby. The floor is yours.
All right, before I add my thoughts on the Jesse Minter hiring, but for those who are crying and complaining in the live chat, I'm all going to say this one time and one time only. Stop bitching. All right, that's first and only time I'm going to say this. Don't let me say it anymore. Stop bitching. Y'all too damn old to be doing that anyway. All right, going somewhere with that shit. Sick of y'all. Sorry about that, y'all. I had to get that out of my chest.
All you.
Now, about the Jesse Minter hiring, I love the hire. It is the ideal hire. It's like I know in the past live streams I've been talking about potentially bringing in Robert Saleh and Brian Flores, but given that Jesse Minter is a guy that has a ton of familiarity with the Ravens organization, and this is the same guy that a lot of players and even opposing coaches have a lot of respect and admiration for. And you saw what Minter did for Odafe Oweh over in LA. It's like this man had Odafe Oweh look like prime Derek Thomas out there. So if Jesse Minter unlocked Odafe Oweh during his tenure in LA, just imagine how much wonders Jesse Minter can do for this Ravens defense, especially our pass rush. For example, we get Travis Jones back, and then we have Teddy Buchanan coming back. Our defense is going to be looking much better. It's like there's still hope. So we have a whole lot of hope. So this actually has me excited going into next season. And finally, after 18 seasons with John Harbaugh at the helm, we finally have a new head coach. And we are finally ushering a new era of Ravens football. That's all I got for y'all.
Appreciate you, brother. Enjoy it tonight. Celebrate it. I love the fire from you, too. It's almost like he was ripping some smelling salts like I did at the divisional round game. Let's see if Tony's going to be able to join us. He may. Let's see here. We're just doing a little bit of live back and forth. Steeler Lee says, congratulations, Ravens fans. Hopefully we can get Shula and keep the Ravens Steelers hard-hitting battles going. #respect. It'd be really something if Chris Shula, which today's show was supposed to be about. I was building before this news came down. And Tony is on dad duty right now. Let me just text him back and let him know that. Tony says, not sure if I can right now. I'm on daddy duty taking the kids to get ice cream. So we'll circle back with him. There's plenty of time to chat with everybody and anybody and everybody that knows a thing or two about this hire and Jesse's candidacy and work directly with him, which Tony did in Baltimore. We'll get back to that. Steeler Lee, thank you for being here. And I do think that Pittsburgh should focus its, objectively. The Steelers should look at Chris Shula. I dug into his candidacy, and that was what today was supposed to be about, because Peter Schrager threw out a little hint that he might. I mean, it wasn't a direct report, but he's like, keep an eye on him. And that's what I thought I was going to build tonight's show around. But it would not surprise me to see Chris land in Pittsburgh and these two bitter rivals go in the direction of that young, up-and-coming defensive mind. Chris is the defensive coordinator under Sean McVay in L.A. Jesse, of course, leaves the other L.A. team, the Chargers, after 2 years under Jim Harbaugh, and, of course, came to the NFL with Jim from Michigan. Thanks to you guys for being with me tonight. 90 seconds on the clock. Manny, all you, 4,800 concurrents and counting. We are an hour and 15 minutes away from the collective. Of course, we're going to get on the collective tonight. Why wouldn't we? Of course, we're going to. Manny, you got to take the first 20 seconds. I got to turn on the AC. I'm sweating my ass off because Irvin pissed me off. So welcome to the program. The floor is yours. 90 seconds on the clock. I'll be right back.
All right. This is now the Manny show, not the Bobby Baltimore show.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't know. I'm on the fence on the Minter. Like I understand people like, yes, Minter, defensive coordinator, but I don't know. I don't know if Lamar sanctioned it, because he hasn't said anything. I mean, the news just broke, and he should have known, and he should have just, tweeted saying, "Okay, I'm rocking with it." So until he says I approve, I'm on the fence on it. But on the other side of this is maybe he just wants a personalized offensive coordinator with his boys, because he has some ideas of what everyone can do, and obviously everyone knows what they can do, and they just want to relay it directly to the OC and not have a head coach offensive mind be dealing with that and then having to deal with the defense. So maybe that's why they chose Minter.
Maybe so, brother.
I don't know. I mean, we gotta ask. We gotta ask the questions.
We'll get all those questions answered at the introductory press conference coming up on Thursday. I love you. Thank you for solo hosting for 20 seconds. And I can see there's risk attached to every single candidate, every single year, particularly those who do not have previous head coach experience under their belts. So we will wait and see what Jesse Minter is all about at the NFL level. BB and CFP Productions writes, love the hire. Think about how many fourth quarter double-digit leads turned into losses that we won't have to watch anymore. Changes the culture, Bobby. BB, appreciate you, man. Thanks for the super chat. Let's check on the Discord server. What is going on in the Discord server? It's a 24/7 hub for conversations surrounding Baltimore sports. I just updated the pinned comment in the live chat to reflect a free access link. And if you want to join the group, which is approaching 1,200 members and maybe already is at 1,200 members, and there you have it. Damn Dan Daniels became member number 1,200. Nick became 1,201. So thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Would love for you to join. It is a 24/7 hub for conversations surrounding Baltimore sports. And here you come. Here come these mofos that all know that the screen is sharing. Here comes Tez right here. That's Evan. Don't interact with him in the Discord group. Just do yourself a favor. Love you there, guy. Constant chatter in here, literally all night long since this news first broke. Appreciate you guys for being part of that community. Appreciate all of you for being here with me tonight. And while we're at it, I would love for you to follow me across all platforms, because there's going to be a ton of off-season content coming your way. That includes Instagram at Bobby Baltimore. That includes Twitter at Bobby Baltimore. I'll drop the links into the live chat. Would encourage you while you're at it to go to the show notes and find direct links as well. Twitter, Instagram, you know the drill, across the board. And by the way, if you haven't already done so, look what we have coming up tonight. This is what we have coming up tonight. Inside the Collective, our Tuesday night show that will be premiering tonight. Jeff Zrebeck, Cole Jackson, myself, 8:30 Inside the Collective. I will drop the link to join me and us. And who knows who else is going to be joining. Just drop that into the live chat. With that, I'm going to eat. I'm going to make sure Tilly is good to go. And I think for now, that's a good place to start. I appreciate all of you for joining me. The coverage has just begun. Sarah and I will be live at 12 noon Eastern tomorrow for a Friday lunch hour live stream to discuss all of this. And Cole, Jeff, and myself in just over an hour and 10 minutes. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Like the video if you could. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. You can scan the QR code if you want to work with Preston Automotive Group. You can go to the links in my show notes if you want to get 50% off your first order at Factor for Factor meals. I'm about to go eat mine right now. Factor75.com. Use the code BobbyBFB50. BobbyBFB50 to get you 50% off your first Factor box, plus free breakfast for a year. Thanks to FanDuel. Thanks to all of you guys for spending some time with me tonight. And we are just getting started on a historic day in Baltimore. Appreciate you guys. We'll get one final update on the poll. I asked you guys earlier, who do you think should be Jesse Minter's offensive coordinator? Cliff Kingsbury leads the way early on at 42%. Again, the collective tonight, 8:30. Join us. Please join us. We're just getting started. Appreciate you guys so much for the opportunity that you've given me to build this platform. We'll talk soon.